Well, 10 years ago, Forest Acres officer Greg Alia was taken from his loved ones when he was killed in the line of duty.
And just days later, tragedy struck the Midlands with the historic flood that devastated many parts of Columbia, including the city of Forest Acres. Well, this week, the city, Serve and Connect, along with the Forest Acres Police Department, are bringing the community together to reflect, remember, and support one another with Remember and Rise.
Councilman Haskell Kibler and Cassie Alia Ray of Serve and Connect are joining us this morning to share more on that life-changing week. Thank you both for being here. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having us.
So Cassie, let's start with you. 10 years ago, Officer Greg Alia was taken from your family. It's protecting our community. Just first, how are you doing and how is your family continuing to remember his legacy?
Certainly this morning is a difficult morning. As I got up, I remembered that morning 10 years ago, and Greg was on day shift, and Sal was just 6 months old, and he brought Sal downstairs with him as he got ready to go to work that morning. And about 6:30, he came in, said, "I'm sorry, babe, I have to go," and he kissed my head, and he was gone. And I think it's just such a clear reminder to never waste a moment with the people you love and cherish every second you have. The night, his last night with us, we went to the park and made a Trader Joe's meal, but we were together as a family, and that's exactly what we did last night. And as I woke up this morning and reflected on the day as a whole, what I was really struck me is just how thankful I am and how for the life that we had together, and how proud I am of Sal and my whole family. We continue to honor him in many ways just in our family, but I'm really excited and proud this week to be naming a new community center off of Decker in his memory called Greg's Place, right up the road from where he was born, raised, and served. And it's also where I'm raising my two boys now, so it's one way to just keep that legacy alive and keep sharing love.
And then, Councilman, really just several days later, the historic flood, 1,000-year flood. Walk us through that day. Walk us what it was like for the community.
It was an event that was somewhat normal, and then the rain started that night, and then the rain kept coming, and then the destruction thereafter. I mean, where I live, we were devastated by it. The homes were devastated by it. My nieces, my sister, my brother-in-law were dropped off to me by a John boat at the end of Carter Hill, and it was an emotional time. And then what happened next was pretty powerful. So the destruction that happened, and this was all across the Midlands, and then the rebuild came, and that was powerful to see. It was people helping their neighbor, people who had a boat and could get somebody out, but then people coming around cutting out sheetrock and getting ahead of the damage and the mold that may come thereafter. And I thought the community came together in a very, very trying moment.
Absolutely.
So it was very powerful to see.
Yeah, it was a very trying and tragic week, for so many of us here in the Midlands, but in both situations here, community being able to come together and give back. So Cassie, talk about Serve and Connect, how we've been able to have that impact on both that relationship with law enforcement and our community.
So a few months before Greg died, he said something that I'll never forget. He said that for every one negative story you hear, there are thousands of positive stories happening every day that go unnoticed. And after he died, I got to hear stories I didn't even know about Greg and how he touched lives in his role as a police officer, and also just the person that he was, his heart of service and kindness and care for others. And that's happening in communities all around us every single day, where both police officers and community members are going above and beyond to help people in need. And when I say go above and beyond, sometimes it's as simple as taking a moment to really check in on someone and show that care and love and listen to them and find ways to help. And that's really at the heart and soul of the work that we do with Serve and Connect. It's uplifting those positive stories that exist around us every single day and helping to connect the helpers and strengthen their ability to make a difference together. And so we're really proud to be launching this week our 1,000 Untold Stories campaign, celebrating the fact that we have been telling these positive stories for 10 years and want to tell even more and want people's help and shining a light on the great things that happen every single day.
Absolutely. We need to continue to hear those stories for sure. And a special event that's going to be taking place this week. Councilman, tell us about it. It's called Remember and Rise.
It is. So Remember and Rise will be this Friday. It'll be at the Gills Creek Memorial Park, which is a dedication to our fallen officers. And it'll be an emotional start, but it'll be a celebration at the same time. So that's where the Remember and Rise comes together. There'll be, it's a free event, but there are things you can purchase, desserts and drinks, and live music. So it'll have a combination of all that.
Absolutely, an event that all of us can come together for, reflect and remember, and build once again as we did 10 years ago. So Cassie and Councilman, thank you so much for being here this week.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you all for having us.
All right, stay with us. We got more Sunrise coming up after this.